Well, it is the wee hours of Sunday morning, and it is time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. And obviously, do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. But unfortunately, this is the last time that we will be showing up in the wee hours of Sunday morning. Because we're going to start showing up in the wee hours of Monday morning. Basically, we are shifting the showing up video one day forward, starting next week. And we're going to continue that throughout the month of September. And that is when we are going to take Old Man Yapping, which typically comes out in the wee hours of Thursday morning, and it's going to start coming out in the wee hours of Wednesday morning instead, because that's when it's supposed to come out. And having done that, we're going to do that throughout the month of October, and at the end of the month of October, come the beginning of the month of November, we're going to start a third video every week. I have a sneeze coming out. My apologies for that. Anyway, in November, we're going to add a third video in the wee hours of Friday morning. And it's at this point that everything changes. Through the month of November, we're going to be changing. We're getting to the end of, this is the fourth year that I've been doing a video every week on YouTube. I did this for 3 years, and it was just showing up, but it wasn't called Showing Up. It was called Sketch Weekly, W-E-A-K-L-Y. And then this, the fourth year, I changed it to Showing Up, and I added the Old Man Yapping video, and now we're adding a third video, and we're going to refocus everything. Showing Up is going to remain Showing Up, but Old Man Yapping is going to become Tuning In, and we're going to focus that on audio. We're going to focus it on audio production, musical composition, sound design, sound recording. I'm much better at that than I am at art. So you should be able to learn more from that than you're learning from any of the fucking Showing Up videos. And the Friday video is going to be called Building Out. And that's going to be focused on game development and design and the actual coding of the game and the planning of the game and the design of the game and all that sort of stuff. And we're going to keep that focus because I want the 3 videos to be focused. And every Sunday on the Substack, I'm going to have a roll-up of the previous week's videos, and I'm going to have a preview of what's coming for the next week. Because as we move into December, in November, because we've got everything new, we're going to be doing at the very least bullet point scripting for each of the week's videos. So I'm going to have a particular thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it. It's not just going to be like whatever the fuck I feel like doing. As you've probably noticed over the last couple of videos, there will be less drinking. There will still be some. I'm still the person I am. But there will be less drinking on these. And once we get into December, I'm going to start flirting with editing. I don't want you to get the wrong idea here. This isn't, I'm going to teach myself to edit video. I know how to edit video. I've been editing video for years. It's just that editing my own video is really, really difficult for me. And what makes it difficult is the deep and powerful conviction that I could have done it better. And I will do retake after retake after retake, trying to make it better. Until the deadline has blown past and I haven't done anything for weeks, and now I'm just thinking, why don't I cancel the whole project? This is a problem. This has been a problem historically, and one of the things that I've been doing over the past 4 years is developing a 250 video streak. That is some serious pressure to not lose it. And I've created that so when I go in and go, I have to edit this video, I have the deadline of, I got to finish this and I got to get it out on Monday. And on top of, I have to finish this and get it out on Monday is, I have 250 videos hanging off of this. There's 50 videos a year, over 50 videos a year for the first 3 years, and then there's 100 for last year. Or for this year, rather. It's not quite 100 for this year. It's currently 85. I think this is video number 85 for the year. But we got 20 more to go. We got this one, and then we got 5 showing up next month, and 5 showing up the following month. We got 5 old man yapping, and then 5 more old man yapping. We got 10 more of each, so 20 more. And that will end up being, it should be a total of 104 videos total for the year. Maybe 105. But I'm actually going to cut the showing up playlist short by 1 video, because usually I restart on the 5th, which is my birthday. But instead, I'm going to do it on the 3rd, which is like, yeah, a couple of days before. I didn't want to have like an incomplete week. I want to have a whole week of each. So it's like showing up counts the number of weeks in the year. And I just like that. I like the way that fits together. And I want to start getting the videos out on a specific time. I want to start getting them out at a consistent and reliable time. And that time is going to be early afternoon Pacific time. It's like somewhere between like noon and 3. Because if you do between noon and 3, then what you have going on there is you got early afternoon for the Pacific area, okay? But you have late afternoon for the Eastern time zone. Meanwhile, the video is coming out in the late evening for Europe and the UK. And I have a substantial number of people in Europe and the UK that like my content traditionally, so I have to think about them. And obviously, being an enormous fucking turbo weeb, I also have to think about my Asia Pacific customers who will be getting an early afternoon video on Monday in the early morning on Tuesday because they're on the other side of the date line. But that works out well. That works out well to have like early afternoon, late evening, early morning. It's a little bit skewed that, you know, we've got the dateline and all that. But, you know, the Asian folks are used to that. The Asia Pacific, they know how that works. It's early in the morning for them. They know it's yesterday for everybody else on the planet. Because of how fucking big the Pacific Ocean is. You guys underestimate how big the Pacific Ocean is. The time difference between Seattle and Beijing is as large as the time difference between Seattle and London. I need you to think about that. There's a bunch of shit between Seattle and London, like almost the entire developed Western world is in that space. And between Seattle and Beijing, there's fucking nothing. There's the Aleutian Islands and a couple of in Japan. That's it, you know? It just in that space, it's all just water, which is just fucking ridiculous to think about. That's why people thought there was an end to the earth, because if you go off in that direction, man, you could go forever. And you'd just be fucked because you don't have enough supplies on your ship. You have no frame of reference to understand how far that is. Falling off the edge of the earth, that's just dying in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That's all that is. I don't think I have any South African viewers. I might, but who knows? And Asia Pacific is also, that also kind of includes Australia, which is just like down south of there. So I don't have a lot of Australians either. I mean, I got John Romaine. I don't know if he's still watching, but I got some folks down in Brisbane. I got some bogans that watch, or at least I used to. Maybe they're still around. Maybe they're the people who unsubscribed earlier. I don't know. They probably got really, really mad about the Stop Killing Games thing. But yeah, that's the direction everything is going, and I'm really starting to move in that direction because I had no response on that job that I put in for, and I don't fucking care. It was just like two roads diverged in a wood, and I just let one of them decide for itself whether it wanted to be gone down, and it decided no, it didn't, so I'm going to go down the other one. I'm going to go down the one I was planning to go down anyway. And that has made all the difference. So what I want to do today is kind of go back to that large to small thing that I was talking about. And specifically, what I want to do is I want to go over the process of working with a reference image. And let me fire up an Explorer window, and I will, let's see, need to go on to the Steam library, Steam apps, common, and we're going to jump down here to, you guessed it, Higurashi no Nakokoro ni. And I'm going to jump into the data, the streaming assets, the CG alt, and I believe it was Mesefu B1. No, it's Mesefu A1. Yeah, that's the one. That is the reference image that I have been using forever to check my progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this down a bit, like so. We're going to crop that. Blip. Now I'm going to add myself a new layer, and once I add that new layer, I want that layer to be in the back, and I want to use my bucket tool to fill it with a reasonable contrasting color. And now I'm going to merge that layer down, blip. And now that it's merged down, I can come over here to my auto actions. You remember this, I did my add blur layers thing. So I'm going to sit here and notice that over here, it's just called layer 1. But when I whack add blur layers, it's going to go through, it's going to do its thing. And hey presto, we've got original and all of the different blur layers. Everything has just happened. And at this point, I can select all of those and copy them, and I'll open a brand new image. I'll come down here to reference, and I'll paste them in. Now, go to move layer, and I just I want that to be on the full folder there, so I'm moving everything at once. I'm going to drag it over to the side like so. And now I'm going to transform it, and I'm going to drag the corner down. And it will slow down rather dramatically because I'm doing this in high resolution, okay? And now that I've done that, what I've got is I've got Sonozaki Mion over on the side. That's an okay transformation. I'm fine with that. So we'll finalize that, and now we will take this purple. I'll come down to my paper, and I will select, using the eyedropper, the same background color, and I'm going to go OK. Now, as I go through my reference layer, I can come here and I can turn off the individual blur layers to make the blur stronger. Until we get down to a blur of 200, which is effectively, I don't see shit. Like, I can't see anything at this point. because it's a fairly low resolution image. So if I come back up to Blur 100, Blur 100 does give me kind of a broad stroke idea of what's going on, but there's really not a whole lot in there. However, this is precisely the kind of large to small thing that I want to work on. This is exactly the kind of thing where I just want to go, okay, there's kind of a green spot up here. There's a light green spot that is more of a bluish, right around in there. A little bit lighter, something around that area. And we're going to scroll up here. We're going to come to my flat colors, and we're just going to go fairly large brush. That is a little bit too saturated. Let's go. There we are. How's that? Okay. So we've got kind of this. That is not bright enough. So we got kind of this feel to it up here. And then we want to go substantially darker. So let's come down here. And it looks like we've got something in this range right here. Got kind of this shape there. And we got a little bit that comes down along the side there. And then we need a kind of a skin tone, which is going to be a light orange around that area right there. And we need need that green again. So let's sample that, and we'll get something down here in this range. And doing this kind of large to small thing, I think, is helpful. Precisely because it's not something I work on a lot, and it's something that I should be working on more. Do that a little more saturated, definitely more saturated than that. A little more yellow than that. A little brighter than that. That looks about right. Now we got to leave room here for the arm. That's important. We've got kind of this we got this bit here, but it's kind of starts right around there. And then we've got the flesh tone again over here. The flesh tone arm here comes down to about there. We got white. And all I'm trying to do here is get the basic layout. There's some white in there. The idea is that once I get this kind of roughed in, I can, oh, look at this. I'm way up high on that. Look at that. That's not even a coloration thing. That's just like, that is not getting anywhere close. And look at that shape there. There's a lot of stuff that I need to work on with this in terms of just getting the shapes right. And a lot of this is just me knowing what the final image is supposed to look like. And I'm kind of replacing it. And what I need to do is I need to get into the habit of painting what I actually see and not what I think is supposed to be there. Like that is actually not there. There's a little bit of a thingy. Then in there, we've got kind of, we've got a neck that sits in there. And this should really be farther down. That's a very real problem that I have, is not drawing the neck where the neck goes. Not making the neck look like the neck is supposed to look. Here's the ponytail not coming down as far as it needs to. Here's the hand not coming down as far as it needs to. Here's the skirt not coming down as far as it needs to. Got a lot of issues with that. A lot of things I need to work on. There's the kind of point of the elbow. And here's the arm. And here's that bit. And that bit right there. And that needs to come down. That needs to be substantially past the elbow here. And we've got our tie, and our tie comes almost all the way down. We've got a little bit of white in there, just a little bit. And just like we've only got a little bit of white up here by the collar. That basically roughs in the shapes. Huh. Not doing great. And I'm not doing great on this, but I now come down here and I can turn on the 50% blur. And I should be able to refine this. I should be able to say, okay, let's expand that outward. Go there. Expand that outward over here. Give it some body. We've got the, this needs to be a little redder. So. And we've got, we can see now that there's a little bit of shadow right here and right here in this plane change. Similarly, we've got over here, we've got shadow along there and coming down along here. Our white comes all the way up. And that goes a long way in defining the shape of the breast there. We can also see that there's shadow in here. And this comes substantially farther out and drops down. Now we're starting to see the shapes of the eyes come in here and here. We're starting to see the eyebrows. here, and here. I should be making my brush smaller as I go. I haven't made the face wide enough. And the face needs to come out to here, which means that eye needs to come out to about here. And there's that eyebrow. And there's that eyebrow. Trying to get more of the sense of what the shapes are. Starting to see more form in here. And we are starting to see a kind of brighter highlight here and there. I'm not doing a very good job here. But it is important to try and find and fix the problems in something like this. We need a kind of a shadow layer. And I think what we're looking at is more like there's some there, and there's some there, there. And we get a bit of shadow along the side of the sleeve here. Similarly, we get a stripe of shadow down along here and a stripe of shadow down along here. And we get the shadow of the hair up here. And a bit of a highlight. A bit of a highlight right in here. You get kind of a highlight around the edge there. I feel like as I do more of this, I think it'll give me a better feel on being able to decompose things and put them together. So this is obviously is not producing good work yet, but you have to do a lot of bad work to produce any good work. And I feel like this is a helpful exercise, and I should do more of this sort of thing. But like, I've been doing this for 20 minutes, and it's terribly embarrassing. And I really don't want to like have this on video and go, look at me being a complete fucking dumbass and fucking this up and just not being very good. After years and years of working on my art, I'm still not very good. But if your practice looks good, you're practicing the wrong shit. That's an important thing to remember. So, so yeah, clearly I'm practicing the right thing because I feel like I'm noticing things, and that it's making a difference, but it isn't producing good results yet. I think that is going to take time, and it's going to take longer for me than it would take for someone who focused exclusively on this, because I have 8,000 things that I'm doing. Well, not 8,000. I've got like 5 or 6. I've got the actual. I need to get better at art so that I can paint better things, and then I've got the whole. I need to do the music for my game. I need to do the audio for my game. I need to do sprites. I need to do additional backgrounds. I need to write the code. I need to. There's like 12 different jobs that all need to be done, and I'm the only person doing them, so it's just me. There is only me, sir. And because of that, all of these things are slowed down to like substantially more than if you've got 6 jobs that you're switching between and you're trying to learn all 6 of them, which I'm not trying to learn all 6 of them. It's just the things that you are trying to learn, even if you only spend 1/6 of the time on one thing, you're not going to get 1/6 of the progress. You're going to get less than that because you're switching between other things. That creates additional inefficiencies in the process as you're switching from one thing to another. And that's kind of important to recognize and realize that that I was doing this for 3 years before I started making the videos, and now I've been doing it another 4 years, so it's like 7 years, and I still suck this much at the art, which is largely because I don't have any fucking talent. That's not true. I have some talent. I don't have as much as I wish I had. I don't have as much as other people have, but it doesn't come easy to me. I have to work hard at it, and part of that is because I'm older, and part of that is because of the stuff that I've already learned, which is constantly getting in the way and going, do it like this. And that just happens. That's just a way that stuff happens. And it's taken a long time, but I'm so much better than I used to be. And if you open up the previous work that I've done on Sonozaki Mion, like if I come in here and I go recent Mion 2, it's not terrible, okay? When I've got like line art and everything, then things are looking fairly close. And you can see the progress and you can see the improvement. But over here, what I'm really trying to do is I'm kind of doing a color study here. I should do more value studies. I should do more things that are just black and white. Well, if I take the whole thing, if I just jump up here and I go raster, new correction layer, hue, saturation, luminosity, and if I just take saturation and go boom, and there's that. And if I duplicate that layer, I could take that layer and I could drag it down to the reference. I can put it in there. And put it all the way up at the top. And it's a very different look. It's a very different feel. I drag the saturation down, it's a very different feel. I think I need... I think I need to work on value more, and spend less time on the colors. I mean, the colors are important. I should be working on the colors, but I do think I need to work on values. So let me go ahead and get rid of these layers and go back to the original work. And I'm going to save this. Mion color, because it's a color study. And yeah, put 20 minutes in on that. The work timer on Clip Studio Paint is useful. And now I'm going to run away from this. I'm going to run away from this, and I'm going to go hide and, like, I don't know, play Starfield or something, because I really do just get like massive cringe responses from doing stuff and not doing a good job, and just feeling like I've gone out in public and done something stupid. So I'm going to bail out of this. And I've been talking about the stuff that I'm doing, and you can't even see it because I didn't switch over to the bottom right cam. And what I did was I applied some alterations to just drop everything down. And I feel like that was... I feel like working from the values alone and not the colors is going to provide better results. But at the same time, I'm going to save this in the state that it's colored and not black and white. Yep, replace. My save button on my macro pad is keyed to save as, so I never accidentally save over something I didn't want to. Anyway, that's where that is. Again, thank you for showing up. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And I'm gonna run off and play Starfield now, cause I'm over here dying of cringe. So yeah, bye.